Okay, grade 8. This is your review prior to your test. I'm going to turn off Spotify classical music here in a second. Press pause. There we go. So we're going to do a review of what would Mac write. So if there's any questions that you didn't understand when we went through it this morning, you can study it tonight. Press pause, think about it, talk to mom and dad about it, and everything will be fine. So the first question in your what would Mac write is this order of operations question. There are two operations here. There is a subtraction and there is a multiplication. So because of BeDMAS, the first thing you would have to do is multiplication. And I am going to just bring down the subtraction and focus exclusively on the multiplication of those two integers. 2 times 8 is 16. A positive multiplied by, or a negative multiplied by a positive, they are different signs, which means the product of those two numbers is negative 16. So 10 take away negative 2 times 8 is the same thing as 10 take away negative 16. Now, if you want to think of it as I have $10 and my grandmother takes away $16 worth of debt, I'm now $26 richer. You can do that if you want. But the easiest way is to simply use addition of integers to calculate the answer to a subtraction. Keep the first integer, don't change it. Change your subtraction to addition, and use the opposite of the second integer. We'll get you the same answer. So 10 plus 16 is from grade 2. Your answer is 26. Now, since the game is what would Mac write, just for the record, I would probably not use a positive symbol because it's not necessary. It's superfluous. I would just use 26. Okay, next question. Question 2 says negative 3 plus negative 4, and then there's a bracket with a negative 5. Now this is almost identical to the last question because it's the same types of operations. It's an addition, and right in here we have multiplication. When you have two numbers next to each other with brackets, and there are no operations between them, it means multiplication. So I'm going to do negative 3 plus the product of these two. 4 times 5 is 20. Negative times negative is a positive. Now I probably wouldn't use brackets, but I'm going to. You might see me write it like this, right? Negative 3 plus 20. That's also the same thing. But just to keep things kind of easy, I will put a bracket there. So now we have addition of integers, 20 positives and 3 negatives. I have more positives than I do negatives. How many more? I have 17 more positives, so the answer is 17. Question 3 says 6 multiplied by, and then there's a square bracket, times negative 3 plus 2. Can anyone tell me why we use square brackets here and not round? Because, Emily? There's already brackets inside the brackets. Were they needed? Did I need to write those? Could I have just used round brackets? I could have actually written it like this. Round bracket, negative 3 plus 2. I would be able to avoid square brackets because really that first integer doesn't require brackets. So I'm just going to rewrite it like that. So 6 multiplied by is going to be my second step because the bracket says solve this. 3 negatives plus 2 positives is 1 negative. 6 times negative 1 is negative 6. Okay. Question 4 is 4 bracket negative 3 bracket negative 2. These are simply two operations. Right in here is a multiplication, and right in here is a multiplication. And if I only have multiplications, what I will do is I will simplify it in the order I see it from left to right. So the first thing I'm going to simplify is this. Negative 12 multiplied by negative 2 would be my next line. Then I'll have 12 times 2 is 24. Same signs, both are negative. That means I have a positive answer, so my answer is positive 24. Question 5 says 10 divided by negative 2 plus negative 3. And technically, I probably should have put brackets around there. I didn't, but that's okay. So I have two operations right here. The first one is division. The other one is multiplication. The first one I will simplify as division. 10 divided by 2 is 5. A positive divided by a negative are opposite signs. So I have negative 5. My next line will read negative 5 plus negative 3, which is negative 8. 5 negatives plus 3 more negatives is 8 negatives. Question 6 says 10 take away 12 take away 3, whatever all of this is. If you want, I can put square brackets around it, or round brackets or whatever. Once you get an answer to that, you then have to take your answer and divide it by -5. So I'm going to go upwards with my order of operations. 10 take away 12 is -2. Kyle, could you stop doing that with your remote, or Mr. Tam Tom, whoever's doing that? Is that you? Who's doing that? Jesse? No? Yo, I should have realized that. -2 take away 3. This actually, -2 take away 3 can be thought of as being -2 take away a +3. This expression and this expression are the same thing, and sometimes we have a difficult time seeing it that way. But if we do, then we could follow our subtraction rules of keep your first integer, change it to addition, and use the inverse of or the opposite of your second. So -2 plus -3 is -5. So the whole bracket, when I simplify it, becomes -5. Divided by -5. 5 divided by 5 is 1. A negative divided by a negative, they're the same sign, so my answer is +1. Question 7. There's a 2 with a square bracket. Now this means at the end, once I solve whatever's in the bracket, the last step I'm going to do is multiply it by 2. 1 plus -2 plus 3, take away -4, and the square brackets. So let's simplify the brackets first. 1 plus -2 is -1. -1 plus 3 is +2. And 2 take away -4. I don't want to subtract integers, so I keep the first integer, change it to addition, use the opposite of the second. 2 plus 4 is from grade 1. The answer is 6. So the whole brackets, when I simplify all of this, I get 6. So then I have 2 times 6 is my last step, because I have to remember about this 2 outside the brackets. And 2 times 6 is 12. Question 8. Square brackets, -3 plus -2, that's the worst 2 ever, I'll erase that, -2, plus 5, plus 8, and your square brackets, divided by -4. This is very similar to the 6th question. So I'm going to simplify my brackets. I'll work upwards, I'll change colors. -3 plus -2 is -5. -5 plus a +5 is 0, and 0 plus 8 would simply be 8. So when I simplify this whole square bracket, I get 8. Now I have to keep my divided by -4 as my last step. 8 divided by 4 is 2. I'll just do it over here, whatever. 2. A positive divided by a negative, they're opposite signs, so my answer is -2. And yes, I know I used an equal sign, but I ran out of space. Okay? And the last question is not really necessary that you can do, but it was more of a challenge question, see if you can figure it out. -2 squared means -2 multiplied by itself twice. So in repeated multiplication, -2 squared means -2 times -2, not -2 times 2. It means -2 multiplied by itself. So therefore, 2 times 2 is 4. Same signs, positive answer. Excellent. When you add up all 9 answers, I'm pretty sure you get 68. Am I wrong? There you go. So the answer, when you add up all of them, is 68. So hopefully this helped you. If you have any questions, leave comments in the video, and I can respond from the video. Otherwise, good luck with your test tomorrow, Thursday.